My name is Madison McCaleb, and I will be giving an informative speech on Shrek. Shrek is a character based off a book by William Steig, and in 1995, DreamWorks began production on this movie. The movie was finally released on May 16, 2001, and Shrek's history includes his development, his 4 movies, and his success. I have done various amounts of research on this topic, so together we will look into these major points. Originally, Shrek was going to be a live-action animated hybrid similar to that of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and they decided to not do this after a test screening, and that came from 107 Shrek Facts You Should Know. So they then animated Shrek, and he looked like this here. He was based off his original voice actor. And so Farley died, and so they recast Shrek and remade him, recast everybody. And the Shrek we all know today, his appearances are based off the French Angel, a 1940s French wrestler, and that also came from 107 Facts You Should Know. And then not only was Shrek going to look different, he was also going to sound different. He was going to be voiced by Chris Farley, who died unexpectedly in 1997 after recording 95% of his lines. Then they got Mike Myers to be Shrek, and the movie was released after it got all situated in May 2001. So the original Shrek is Shrek wanting his swamp back, and he goes on a quest, and he saves Princess Fiona for Lord Farquaad, and he then falls in love with Fiona, and Fiona falls in love with him, and they get married and live happily ever after on the swamp. The second Shrek movie, which was released in May 2004, is about Shrek and Fiona going to far, far away, the kingdom which Fiona's parents reign. And Shrek feels bad about being an ogre and turning Fiona into an ogre and whatnot. So Shrek takes a potion to make him and Fiona human, but in order to stay human, they must kiss, but lots of stuff gets in the way, and they unfortunately do not kiss, and they stay as ogres, but they're fine with that as long as they're with each other. Shrek the Third Shrek the Third was released in 2007, and it's about the king, Fiona's father, dying, and so Shrek is next in line for the throne, but he doesn't want it, so he goes and saves, or gets Artie, Fiona's cousin. Whenever Shrek left, Fiona announced that she was pregnant, and so Fiona, her mom, and all the other princesses have a baby shower for Fiona. And after that, they get captured. And whenever Shrek and Artie come back, they get captured as well. But thankfully, the princesses escape, and they were able to. Artie was able to become king, and the Shrek and Fiona lived back on the swamp with their triplets. And then Shrek Forever After was released in May 2010, and in this movie, Shrek wishes for his life before he met Fiona. And so he makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, but unfortunately the deal goes south because Rumpel's a con man. So then Shrek has to get back Fiona, make her fall in love with him again. And after a whole bunch of trials and tribulations, he finally gets Fiona to fall in love before time is up. And they live happily ever after as if nothing had happened. Now that we know what Shrek is about, let's talk about the success of this film. Here is a map or a graph of the profits of Shrek. The original Shrek, here in blue, made over $400 million worldwide and over $200 million domestically, which is what this graph shows. Shrek 2, and also Shrek won a Golden Globe nomination for Best Motion Picture for Comedy or Musical, 8 Annie Awards, and being the first ever movie to win in the new category for Best Animated Feature for the Oscars. And that came from The History of Shrek from Cartoon All-Star to Meme Lord. And Shrek 2 made over $900 million worldwide and over $400 million domestically. And according to that same video, Shrek 2 was the highest grossing animated feature of all time for 6 years before Toy Story, and it was also the highest grossing animated feature of all time domestically for 12 years before Finding Dory. Shrek the Third made over $800 million worldwide and over $300 million domestically. And according to the History of Shrek video, once again, Shrek the Third held the record for the biggest opening weekend before it got beaten yet again by Finding Dory. And then Shrek Forever After, it made over $700 million worldwide and over $200 million domestically, but even it didn't win any notable awards or anything. So in conclusion, Shrek went through a lot of changes before they finally decided on what he would be and whatnot, the story and everything. But all these changes helped Shrek become what he is today. Altogether, these films made over $3 billion, and there have been lots of spin-offs and holiday shorts of Shrek. And DreamWorks has confirmed that there will be a Shrek 5. And according to Inquisitor.com, Eddie Murphy recently said that an initial script for Shrek 5 was already planned and it was to be released in 2019. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this new film, but I think it'll be just as popular because everyone wants to see what happens to the franchise. That is all. Thank you for listening.